Okay, we're looking at example 31. This is a harmonization exercise, and the idea is that you play the chord symbols in the left hand and the melody in the right hand. The melody is in treble clef, it's in 3/4, and one of the first things you want to look at is the key signature. The key signature is going to help you to obviously know what key you're in and to know which sharps or flats you'll need, but it'll also help you to understand how to play the left-hand chords. The chord symbols indicate chords that you'll play in the left hand, and the melody is going to be played in the right hand. So if we look at the key signature, we have 3 flats, which can mean one of two things. We're probably in either E flat major. You can use your second to last flat trick. Your E flat tells you that you're in the key of E flat. Or you could be in C minor. As I look over the tune, I notice that the low note, it keeps wanting to land on E flat, and then at the very end, it's an E flat. If I look at the chords, those are chords in the key of E flat. Particularly the last one is an E flat. There's also 5-to-1 motion, 5-7-to-1 motion at the end. B flat 7 to E flat. That's also telling me that we're in the key of E flat. Let's look over the chords first. Since we're in the key of E flat, we would assume that the chords are going to be the same chords that we use in our standard 1-4-1-5-7-1 chord progression. And if I play that progression, this is not the progression from the piece. This is the chord progression that we often use just when warming up at the keyboard. 1, 4, in the second inversion, 1, 5, 7, and 1, 1, 4, 1, 5, 7, that's in the 6-5 inversion, and 1. It's going to be important to be able to turn those Roman numerals into letter names. If I'm in E flat, 1 is E flat. 4, do 1, 2, 3, 4, go up the scale. E flat, F, G, A flat. 4 is A flat. And the 5, 7, just go up one more, 4 to 5, A flat to B flat. It's B flat 7. And back to E flat. And if you look at the piece, if you look at Harmonization 31, you'll notice right away that those are the only 3 chords in this whole exercise. There's an E flat chord in measure 1. There's a B flat 7 chord in measure 4. There's an A flat chord in measure 5. I'm going to go through and play the whole exercise just with the left hand. And I'll count you in. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. It's a little quick at the end, those 3 chords at the end. Now notice, if I have an E flat chord at the beginning, notice in the second measure there is no chord, just play the previous chord. That becomes important toward the end in measure 7. There's no chord at the beginning, but you will play the E flat at the beginning of that measure. It helps to leave a little space between the chords. If you try to connect them too hard, it's really hard to move, so you can get a little bounce going and prepare in the air. So as I play the first chord, I'm in measure 7. I play the first chord, I'm preparing for the next one, prepare for the next one, prepare for the next one. There's a lot of ways to play the tune. If you play the tune, you'll find that there's a lot of different fingerings you can use to arrive at a final result. I'll play it one way so that you can have an example of how to do it, but there's a lot of ways that you could do it. 1, 2, 3. As always with these harmonizations, I'll often use a popular tune, so I'll leave it up to you to find out what that tune is. So what I did was I started with thumb on E flat. Now I know that a lot of times we don't use thumb on black key. This is kind of an exception. In this case, it's a little bit easier in this case to use your thumb on the E flat because you can catch so many notes of the notes at the beginning, and so that you don't have to keep crossing over and back and over and back again and again. So I started on thumb, basic E flat 5-finger position, the first 5 notes of the E flat scale. Now here, if I keep going in that position, I'm going to run out. I'm going to run out of fingers. And it's going to become kind of tricky to get to the high E flat. So we need to do something in advance of that. So in the middle of bar 2, well, one place would be that G. If I cross my thumb to the G, now I'm ready for the next few bars. Gets me quite a ways. Get all the way to that B flat and measure 6. I can stretch my thumb to reach the G, and then I'm going to need to do something. I'm going to cross. I'm going to cross to the E flat. I'm using 2. What that allows me to do is look ahead and see that I can get my thumb on the F, and that'll get me mostly through the rest of the song. I'm going to go back to that crossing, all the way back to measure 2, halfway through measure 2. Different way you could do this, and I was playing that out of time, of course. A different way you can do this would be to just get yourself back into the E flat 5-finger pattern. Put your 4th finger on the B flat. I'm in the middle of measure 5. 4th finger on the B flat. We're not quite in the 5-finger pattern yet. It's a bit of an extended position. Now, my thumb is anchored on the E flat. Now I can move back over. Still not going to work. In just the basic E flat, I have to have some kind of extension at the top. Either of those 2 ways will get you through it. I'll play through the whole exercise a couple of times. One time slow. One time a little faster, so that you'll have something to practice with. I'll even turn on the metronome for you. 1 and 2 and 3. And we'll try it one time a little faster. 1,